Remember back in April when truckers were the most important people in the world? Because we were bringing your toilet paper and your gas to heat your house. Everybody was howling at night for the first responders because we've been out here in the middle of this pandemic this whole time. And how do you thank us? You closed down the restaurants that we eat at. Now in Wyoming, they're talking about not even plowing the highways this winter because they can't afford it. And to top it all off, 70 million of you guys voted against the trucking industry, against first responders, against oil and gas. We ain't got to forget this shit.
Welcome to Prepper Now. All right, so we're all hearing about this trucker strike, so I'm going to do a little bit of a dive into it and to give you an idea. So let's start with the information that I've gotten that is not a part of this. I won't say it's not true. I'm just saying if you do basic searches for this, as usual, there's a bunch of things that are going to cloud the waters, and this is part of it. So you've got United Natural Foods, Inc., which is a trucking group. It's Local 445. Here's the info on the screen. They supply Stop and Shop and Whole Foods, and they're more out of the New York area. This strike is not what people are talking about. That's just a labor disagreement. They're working it all out. The strike itself that the truckers you're about to hear are going through are on a national level and could be very disruptive.
Blessed be our new founding fathers.
Okay, so as things are going on now, the truckers are basically planning on 11/11 and then 11/26 to 11/29 to do a shutdown. Now, what that looks like and the scope of it, I'm not really sure. And I'm trying to figure that out. But to say that it is around the trucker community is the understatement of the century. It is all over. They're all talking about it. And you can go onto Facebook, and you can go onto Twitter, and you can go on to YouTube, and you can go on to all the social media platforms and hear them all talking about it, because they are talking about it and talking about it and talking about it. And to be honest with you, these people are all very much in the Trump camp. And as many of them state, this has nothing to do with trying to hurt the country. It has nothing to do with trying to hurt people that are just trying to get goods and services. This is everything about a fair election that is based in integrity. None of this would happen if Mr. Biden would have just won, and there wouldn't be all this copious amounts of fraud that these people believe have gone on. And there's plenty of things to go out and plenty of rabbit holes to go down to see it. So to say things are questionable would be, again, the understatement of the century. So everybody in this community is talking about it. And some things you need to understand is that 90% of the industry, from what I've gathered and hearing these truckers talk, are owned by large companies like Knight, and I mean, you've seen them all out. I think there's Swift, there's Taylor, there's a bunch out there that are national trucking firms, okay? Now, doesn't mean that they're politically left or politically right, and it doesn't mean that these truckers could not talk to their bosses and the bosses be fully on board of shutting things down. As many of them state, they are sustained enough where they could do this for a while and really cause problems. And there's other things. I've heard rumors of them going to D.C. and surrounding it, front to tail, all the truckers blocking all the roads so nothing goes in and nothing goes out of D.C. Here's some more truckers talking.
I think that most people do not sort of realize that every tangible object, every piece of food they consume was most likely in a truck before it got to them.
The growth in population in this country and the need for the movement of goods and services is literally going to overwhelm the infrastructure as we know it today.
One component of the network shuts down and it impacts the rest of the network. It's that fragile. I mean, we're on that close of a sliver of the transportation system working as people want it to work.
Particularly as we've moved to a world of Amazon Prime and deliveries as opposed to making our own personal trips, we don't think about the truck traffic that causes.
Basically, to the general public, we are invisible unless something goes wrong.
We're now investing a smaller percentage of our gross domestic product in transportation infrastructure than many third world countries.
We're on a path that is not a sustainable path on how we can move all this freight and have this quality of life that we have as Americans. You can't sit idly by and just say, well, it'll all work out, because it won't.
A lot of people who are kin or have something to do with trucking, oil field, one way or the other. As of now, the word is November 29th. November 29th, we park them and we don't move. I know it's pretty close to Thanksgiving or right around that time, but November 29th is the day we take this country back. Spread the word. It's our time. We say what happens. Y'all be safe out there. November 29th. Let's do this.
So as you can see, it's really getting real, okay? That group has got 107,000 members, and I bet by the time this video comes pumping out, they're probably at about $110 to $120. If they start to shut down the goods and services, you're going to see major issues start to play out. We are already stressed with the Rona and the lockdowns that are coming. They just halted all the dining in New Jersey. Shanghai just recorded its first case in months. Hospitalizations are back in this country to where they were in July. The Ukrainian president just tested positive. And all the people that are thinking that this new news out of Pfizer, everything's going to go back to normal, if you deep dive into it, and if you know the way the V word works with these, it's not about keeping it or stopping it. It's more about like the flu shot kind of thing. And I think once all this fleshes out, because they've been saying this for a long time, I think it'll be more on par with a flu shot type thing, but it's not going to be a panacea, a cure-all. So here is a video from a guy just to show how ubiquitous this thing is. It's all over the place. The trucking thing is big. If this strike goes down, you're going to see major issues on a supply chain. Now, I've heard the 11th of November. I've heard the 26th to 29th. I've heard the 29th. You get the point. It's time to stock up. If you don't got it, you best get it. Not only that, you've got Thanksgiving coming up. You basically have this week into about mid next week if you're lucky. Most people are getting ready for that. My wife gets information at her job about the Rona. The things are exploding. The cases are going way up. It's spiking. All right? So get your preps. Prepper now.
Hey guys, welcome to Home Over the Road. Kenny here. Thanks for tuning in. This is not a video that I really wanted to be doing today. I'm gonna try to give you guys the what I know about this trucker strike. It's crazy how much information I heard about this today and where it came from different places unexpectedly. And it is a little bit concerning because I also have been, noticing some sort of changes in the country here in the last 2 or 3 days. I mean, some stuff that's certainly spiritually discernible. I am a Bible-believing Christian. What's the deal? Well, a lot of guys are saying, hey, we're gonna strike on November 29th. I've never been a part of a union or anything like that. I've never been a guy that said, well, I always said, well, you guys do whatever you want to do. I'm going to take care of mine. I'm 46 now, and I don't live paycheck to paycheck or anything like that. So I've given this a lot of thought today. Now, I got a phone call at 6 o'clock this morning from another driver who said, hey, look, we're trying to organize a shutdown of DC. We're going to try and park our trucks nose to tail to the rails on all the exits on the 435, I think is what it is, the Beltway there, and shut DC down. And we've got a bunch of trucks that are thinking about doing this. Now, but it got me. We talked a lot about what's going on, and listen, it's not about Trump not winning. It's about the fraudulent election. That's what the trucking community and the country at large is very upset about. Now, as a person that travels around the country, I simply do not believe that there was more support for Biden than there was for Trump. I don't believe that. I don't think you could really talk to an honest trucker who would tell you that. It's just not there. I go to all 48 contiguous United States. I talk to a lot of people, and I see the signs, and I just don't believe the support was there. Obviously, you've got strongholds like LA, Portland. I just left Portland 2 days ago. You got those strongholds, but those places are they're not the rule. They're the exception to the rule in the country at large. Most people in this country are freedom-loving, moral, to a greater degree than not, moral people, and they want peace, and they want justice in this country. So a lot of people are upset right now about what they see as an election that has not been fair. It's not been transparent, and it is fairly obvious to most of us that they're trying to steal it.